We have Commissioner Cook online? Good.
I guess we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. I'm appearing virtually due to having an illness. Rapid test did not show COVID, but I do have a fever and thought it'd be best if I stayed away and not infect everybody else. So, good morning. This is January 10, 2022, Board of County Commissioners for Shawnee County. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair, at least for a few more minutes. Also representing District 2. Joining me this morning is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1, and Commissioner Aaron Mays, representing District 3. Madam Clerk, our first item.
First item is item 1, organizational meeting. A, elect chair of the Shawnee County Commission.
At this time, is there a nomination for chair?
I'll nominate Commissioner Mays.
I'll second. There's a nomination for Commissioner Mays to be the chair by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Commissioner Mays, you are now the chair.
Thank you. So I just take it from here then?
You can move to the middle if you want.
Yep.
And maybe
Yeah.
I'll just do it from this seat. Thank you, though.
You're breaking tradition.
breaking tradition already?
That's the tradition?
Yeah, that's the
Oh.
tradition. You move
Well,
over.
by all means.
You have to, heaven forbid that he would want to break tradition.
Names,
And the
yeah.
name tag and the name plates.
This is fun, guys.
There we go.
There's no pictures, just your, see? Official.
All right. Well. Chair was up a little high for me. Okay. Next item of business, please.
Item B, elect vice chair of the Shawnee County Commission.
I would move that we nominate Commissioner Rippon as vice chair.
Second.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C, consider appointments of commissioners as recommended by the staff to the following boards, committees, councils. Number 1, Stormont Valley Event Center Advisory Board, Commissioner Rippon. Number 2, Ambulance Advisory Board, Commissioner Cook. Number 3, Health Access Board, Commissioner Cook. Number 4, Metropolitan Topeka Planning Organization, Commissioner Rippon. Number 5, Go Topeka Board, Commissioner Mays. 6, Chamber Board, Commissioner Cook. Number 7, Shawnee County Security Council, Commissioner Mays. Number 8, State of Kansas Labor Workforce Development Committee, Commissioner Mays. Number 9, Greater Topeka Leadership Chairs Council, Commissioner Mays. Number 10, Stormont Vale Advisory Board, Commissioner Rippon. Number 11, Intergovernmental Council, Commissioner Mays. Number 12, Momentum 2027, Commissioner Cook. Number 13, Visit Topeka, Commissioner Rippon. And number 14, City of Topeka Riverfront Advisory Board, Commissioner Rippon.
All right. Any discussion on that?
I would move that we approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item D, consider approval of resolution number 2022-2, setting the days and hours the courthouse will be open, setting dates and times of commission meetings, and setting agenda procedures.
Any discussion on that? Sir.
I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item E, consider approval of resolution number 2022-3, designating the official county newspaper.
I believe the official county newspaper, we have a document here that was submitted by the clerk to designate the Topeka Metro News as the official county newspaper. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion that we approve that.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Okay, we have several items on the consent agenda today. Assuming everybody has reviewed those, is there any discussion on those? I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Okay, I'll do the vouchers today. I guess from now on, I have them, okay.
It's all yours.
Under Building and Maintenance, Field Turf USA Incorporated, $40,611.29 is for a turf project at Lake Shawnee Girls Softball Complex and Bettis Family Sports Complex multi-use field. Under Equipment Fund and Green Space Parklands, tailor-made totaling $13,011.12 is for safety service at Eastboro Park. Under Emergency Management, paid with ARBA and SLFRF funds, Nomad Global Communication Solutions Incorporated, $18,995.67 is for maintenance and warranty for emergency communication vehicle. That's all I have, and I would move for approval of the vouchers.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I would move that we approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Parks and Recreation, number 1, ratification is requested for Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Advisory Advocate Board appointment of Mr. Scott Crimmins as the new member to the City Council District Number 4 seat.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Lieu, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. Mr. Crimmins was going to be here today, but another meeting came up and he regretfully declined to be able to be here, but I'm excited. Scott has been 35 years here in Topeka, Shawnee County. He's a Washburn graduate. He lives out by Lake Shawnee, enjoys our trails. He comes from a sports background. He's coached his kids playing ball through the years, and I think he'll be a tremendous asset to our advisory board. Glad to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No
All
questions.
right, great. Look forward to having him on the board. I would, do we have a motion to ratify? Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yes.
Okay, I'll move that we ratify that.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B2, consider authorization and execution of contract C5-2022 with James Hubbard for Divine Services for the attaching and detaching of inflatables at Adventure Cove at a cost of $2,500 per request per season, with funding from the Park Services Division operating budget. Dive Services.
Good morning,
Dive Services.
Commissioners. Randy Luby again with Parks and Recreation. Mr. Hubbard is a member of the Shawnee Heights dive team, and we need scuba divers to be able to go down and hook these floatables up and then take them down in the fall also. This is a 3-year agreement. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, well, I think you answered my question, was the length of time this is for, so 3 years sounds good. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Randy.
Item B3, request approval to apply for a KDHE SFY 2022 waste tire grant application, are available for a 50/50 grant match to replace playground safety surfacing with estimated funding in the amount of $186,337.66, match of $93,168.83. Parks projects, Gage Park, Animal Land, and Lake Shawnee Shelter Number 3.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Director, Parks and Recreation Department. The clerk there hit the nail on the head. This would be for Animal Land and for the large playground out by shelter number 3 at Lake Shawnee. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Tim?
No questions, I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next
you.
item, please.
Item C, Emergency Management, number 1, consider approval of grants to Shawnee County first responders in the amounts modified by the Ambulance Advisory Board for a total of $22,730.56.
Morning, Commissioners. Nelson Castile, Ambulance Compliance Officer. Let me see if I can pull this up here. There we go. Each year, the fines and penalties from the ambulance contracts where they're fined for going over specific response times are put into a special revenue account. And that account, then each year on June 1st, we decide how much is in there and we release it. And the 10 first responder departments and agencies in the county then can put in for grants based on the previous resolution that you approved. As the memo indicates, when they requested it, it was a couple of $1,000s over what was going to be available. The fire chiefs got together and contacted me and said that it was agreeable to everybody take a across-the-board cut. That way, everybody got something and not something that got cut out totally. So the requested amount is what they turned in for. The Ambulance Advisory Board voted 4-0 and approved the equal cut back across there. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Nelson?
No. I would move for approval.
I'll second.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please. Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item D, Planning Department, number 1, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2022-4, the rezoning of 12.33 acres west of Northwest Button Road in Soldier Township from C2 Commercial District to PUD Planned Unit Development to allow residential development.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Anderson, Director of Planning Department. This first item is the conversion of a property zone C2 to a PUD for residential purposes. The property you see, it's one of the few properties in this entire development that does not front on either Northwest Hunters Ridge Terrace or on 46th or Fielding Road. So it's been kind of landlocked back there. The only access to it is from Button Road. So it's probably not, because of that, that's one reason why it has not developed over these years. As you can see, though, a lot of other properties in this business park have not also developed. This didn't develop as fast as they believed it would. If you're familiar with the area, most of this over here to the west and to the south is zoned office and commercial. And that's how it's been developed over the years. Another thing to look at in this picture is that all the land to the east on Button Road is residential. All the land to the north of the blue box is also residential. So because this property hasn't developed, it lends us and the Planning Commission to believe that maybe the zoning of C2 may be too much for this location, and that a transitional use like the PUD might be a good buffer between the business park and these residential uses that exist. There you see the area that received notice. We didn't have anybody at the public hearing at the Planning Commission speak in opposition or in favor. Soldier Township did speak in favor of the request. They at one time held the property, and they were in support of the proposal. This is probably the most unusual plat you'll ever see because virtually every lot out here has a dog leg. The reason why this is one of the reasons why they've applied for a PUD. They want to create a certain kind of aesthetic where it's more urban, suburban than rural, residential. They want to have smaller front yards, smaller backyards, so people don't have to do all the yard maintenance of a big large size property. And if you look at the next picture, which is, this is the final plat that's being proposed in front of the city of Topeka, the preliminary plat, when you see the building footprint included on there, you see how the homes are not square up onto where they face the road. They're kind of at an angle. This is an aesthetic. Again, they're trying to promote to get this a little bit different kind of feel, a little bit more uniqueness, and this kind of this a more distinctive type of community rather than the usual cut and, the rigid straight line subdivision that you see when you fly over them. So this is the exact reason why we have a PUD for applicants to do something just like this. So we have, the planning department has no objection, and neither did the planning commission. The findings, basically I read the findings to you over in this presentation. The residential use is consistent with the area to the north and to the east. They feel a reduction in the amount of commercial space is appropriate given the development pattern and what's happened and not happened in the area. It would create a buffer use between the residential and commercial. The property is in the city of Topeka's 3-mile buffer, so they are not opposed to the request. They're platting it right now, contingent on the zoning being approved. They have agreed to provide water and sewer service to the property, and we believe it satisfies all the criteria for a PUD district and the golden criteria. Based on that, the staff and the planning commission are recommending approval, subject to the preliminary plat that shows the building footprints being the PUD master plan, and subject to form surveys being required for each of the properties to make sure that each building on that lot, because of all the dog legs that are on those properties, that the form of the survey of the lot, of the building foundation is compliant with the building setbacks. It's very easy when you have something with a lot of angles on it for there to be a deviation, a minor deviation, and this hopefully will prevent a future need for a bunch of variances to be granted over time. So with that, I would defer to your public hearing, and or if you have any questions now, I'll be happy to take those.
Any questions for Randy?
Randy, is that a stormwater detention?
Yes, sir. There's two. There's one on the bottom, the big oval shaped one, and the other one on the top.
Okay. These are unusual lot lines.
Right. The only 3 lots that don't have dog legs on them are the 2 lots at the top left-hand corner. Those are more conventional, but everything else has a dog leg somewhere or multiple dog legs on the lots. But it all makes sense when you see the footprint of each of the houses. And just for the record, we're not going to hold them to these exact footprints. This is information for you to understand how this thing's going to work with the unusual lot shapes on there. But this would be the master PUD plan, if you approve it.
And these are all single family.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to see this going in, actually. We have a housing shortage. If anybody familiar with the real estate market, there's not much inventory out there.
Well, another thing is that the introduction of more housing out there might actually help the business park to further develop. So we see it as a win from multiple perspectives.
All right. Do we have to open this for public meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's no further questions, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. We are now in a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak in favor of this agenda item? Seeing none, is there anyone who would like to speak against this item? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I'll move that we close the public hearing.
Did you want to approve it at the same time?
And approve.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon that we close the hearing and approve the rezoning.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item D2, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2022-5, a master PUD amendment for Tract B to allow an enclosed self-storage warehouse in lieu of an assisted living facility located at 5249 Northwest Topeka Boulevard in Swords Township.
Again, Commissioners, Randy Anderson, Planning Department. The property that's involved in this PUD is shown on the overhead on the screen. This property was platted, not platted, but it was created as a PUD way back with the idea that there would be townhomes located on the larger lot that you see there, which is Tract A, and then on the smaller tract, which is at the top, the smaller square would be for assisted living. You see the school property that's up here. Everything else around here is residential. So when the applicant came in asking for a self-storage facility here, I was thinking this may not be the best use of this property. But one of the things we've been talking with the Planning Commission is that there are cases where if someone does a very upscale type of design where the hours of operation are limited and the building is designed up with not your traditional metal buildings like you see in most parts of the county, but something that looks dressier and more compatible with the neighborhood, that it be something that we could consider. So this led me to you see again it's all residential there. This led me to suggest to the applicant that if they were to dress it up, consistent with some of the recommendations that are coming out of the Planning Commission in the proposed zoning ordinance update, that we could consider it and think it might actually be a good use. And the commission and the applicant was very willing to do those things. The building would look attractive. It wouldn't be a metal building. It would be built out of CMU with some color and aesthetic values. There would be a decorative fence around the property. The hours of operation would be limited, and those kind of things that were in the proposed zoning ordinance were all agreeable to them. That was actually what they were wanting to do in the first place. So it wasn't a hard sell that we had to make to convince them of this use. And this to give you a picture of what we're talking about when we say upside design. These are the kind of warehouses that are being built around the country in neighborhoods, and they provide a nice transitional buffer. It's almost like a church use in the sense that most of the time it's a very quiet use. There's not a whole lot going on at these facilities, and if you design them well, like is illustrated in these pictures, they actually can be a good neighbor and an asset for the residents who live in the area who would use these facilities. When you look at this picture, one of the things you don't see is any overhead doors. If you were to drive by this, you would think it might be a school or some other large building that was part of a neighborhood facility. This is all this. The business end would be in the interior of the park. But again, you see how the doors, they're painted a color that matches the color of the CMU. You don't see a whole lot of metal. All the metal parts will be located into the interior of the project. So if you're on adjoining property to the northwest or out on the road, you wouldn't see the business side as much. And any part that you might see will be buffered with landscaping. So we were talking about a superior type of a project that we would consider being appropriate here. One of the things that the commission and staff have done is develop a whole section of requirements in the proposed zoning ordinance, and what you're seeing in these recommendations basically are those requirements. It talks about service stores, building materials, colors, aesthetics, buffer yards. I'm not going to read through all these things, but this is a preview of the proposed zoning ordinance. And here's the buffer requirements that we would require on the perimeter of the property, trees and landscaping, different things to make the building attractive. So the commission, the reason why I showed you that first is because the commission believed that given those conditions being imposed, the use would be appropriate in the area. I did speak to two neighbors by phone who agreed that with those conditions, they were acceptable to them. The owner to the property to the north also was at the public hearing at the Planning Commission. He agreed that these conditions would be appropriate, and he supported the use. So basically what I'm telling you is that the planning staff and the Planning Commission both believe this is an appropriate use given these conditions being imposed. Without those, it would probably not be. The normal mini warehouse requires C4 or I1 zoning. This is not one of those type of typical uses, so based on that difference in the design, that's why we're recommending approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions now or after your public hearing.
Randy, does this project fall within the buffer zone with the city, or is it outside?
It's outside.
It's outside, okay. All right.
Randy, I can't tell by looking at the map here, is the entrance going to be on the west side then? Or, I know there are existing townhomes there. Would the entrance to this facility interfere with the townhomes at all?
No, the entrance, as you asked that, the entrance would be up here, or if you can see my little cursor where it says Boulevard, they would have a separate entrance, separate from the townhomes. This is actually just the property line to the west. There's not a road back here.
Okay.
It was these people back here who supported the request. It was this individual who owns this property who supported the request. And one thing I wanted to make sure is clear is that nothing is changing on Tract A, the big tract. There's a large lateral field back here in this back part that's undeveloped. If someday that's sanitary sewer were ever extended out here, they could potentially do something back there to extend the townhomes. But right now, nothing is proposed to change on Tract A, just the smaller Tract B in the little box where the cursor is.
Okay.
But each one of those would have their own separate driveway, and the warehouses would be designed so they would be compatible with the townhomes, so that it looks like a coherent development project, not two separate pieces that didn't have any kind of rhyme or reason between them as far as the design.
Okay. Any other questions for Randy? Okay, then I would make a motion that we open the public hearing on this.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon to open the public hearing. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. We are in a public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this agenda item?
Morning, Commissioners. Angela Sharp with Bartlett and West, representing the owners. And the owners did attend the Planning Commission hearing, and we also had a neighborhood meeting that we sent notices out to the entire notification area. They attended that as well, but unfortunately they were not able to attend this morning, so I actually have them conferenced on my phone in case they have any comments. Marshall Barber is their local representative, since they are from Washington. And so he is here, and he was also at the neighborhood meeting and at the Planning Commission hearing as well. The owners will retain ownership of the townships, or of the townhomes, and so they definitely have a vested interest in creating these self-storage units so that they have an attractive appearance for their lessees in the townhomes. And they're, of course, anticipating that this will be a great use for their residents there in making use of some of the storage units. The reason that they determined that the existing PUD use of an assisted living facility wasn't appropriate any longer is just the additional regulations and requirements that are put on assisted living facilities, especially those that are smaller and standalone, that don't have that benefit of, additional units to offset the costs that come with this type of a facility, and that's why they determined that the market really was driving this area to have another self-storage facility. And actually the Township representative that attended the Planning Commission hearing was very much in support of having some self-storage units because of the demand in this area, especially being climate controlled, which these will be. So there really isn't anything in this area for the neighboring residents. So he was pretty excited about them being built here. As I said, we did send out notifications to 40-plus neighbors for that neighborhood meeting, and no one came, so the owners and Marshall and I had about an hour-long conversation and and then left. So didn't have anybody that felt concerned enough to attend. And as Randy indicated, we have had some neighbors express comments, but those have been in support of the type of development and the use that we're proposing here. So with that, I would stand for any questions you might have. And I'll check real quick and see if don't hear anything from Bob or Bill, so.
Okay, any questions for Angela?
I have none.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this agenda item? Seeing none, is there anyone here that is opposed? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I'll move to close the public hearing and approve the resolution.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item D3, consider approval of a preliminary and final plat to create 2 lots at 7426 Southwest Indian Hills Road. The property is zoned RA1, Rural Agricultural District, and located in Auburn Township.
This is another one of those plats where we had a building that was converted into a residence that we need to split the lot so that each unit, each residence can be located on its own lot like we've been having over the last year or so. Projects just like this. This is the preliminary plat. The issue is actually with this building right here, which was a garage that will now be on proposed lot 1 that was converted into a residence without a permit or any kind of approval from the county. So this would address the zoning issue and would rectify it and make the world normal on this property. This is the final plat. There's not a whole lot to see here. So basically, the findings of the Planning Commission were that the proposed plat does comply with the subdivision regulations and will comply now with the zoning regulations and resolve the zoning issue that is outstanding. The only condition that they imposed was that a building permit be required to lawfully establish the unit that was converted from the garage to a residence. And with that, that's a recommendation for approval by unanimous vote with the one condition. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Randy?
No.
All right, seeing none, I will move that we approve.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion passes 3-0. Next
you.
item, please.
Item E, excuse me, item E, Human Resources, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-6-2022, the 2022 to 2024 Fraternal Order of Police Memorandum of Understanding.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. We do have representatives here today from the Sheriff's Office and the FOP. You could feel free to join me if you'd like. The FOP contract has been ratified by the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 3 and is ready for your approval. The highlights of the contract include the fact that it's a 3-year term and includes provision for wages as recommended by the Evergreen Wage Study, the addition of hazard or premium pay, the addition of Juneteenth as a holiday, explanation of holiday pay for 10-hour shifts. It increases the amount of comp leave that can be accrued from 120 hours to 240 hours for officers hired prior to 6/22/07, and increases the amount of reimbursement for footwear from $150 to $175, and the annual plainclothes allowance from $400 to $500. The contract covers 99 employees, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Angela?
I have none.
Commissioner Cook? Nothing? Okay.
No
All right.
questions.
Would anyone from the FOP care to speak?
Thank you, Chairman Mays. Matthew Bergman, appearing on behalf of the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 3. Good morning, Commissioners. Ms. Lewis is correct. Today, in front of you, we have a contract or a memorandum of understanding that has already been ratified by the membership. Covers approximately the 100 members in the bargaining unit. It is a contract that's been negotiated with a team concept, and by team I mean the FOP side and the county side, including Angela, Michael, Mr. Crowell on the legal side. Betty, thank you for your input as well on the financial side. We've all worked together through this. Some of the items were agreed upon very early in 2021. Because of the Evergreen study, the financial aspect took a little longer. But at the end of the day, we reached a fair agreement, and we would request that it be approved. It is going to continue to foster the relationship between the bargaining unit members and the county, as well as the sheriff's office. And I'm very pleased today to have Detective John Culver, who is a former FOP president, with us today to say a few words. And I would also recognize that we have Under Sheriff Hubler and Major Lottridge here as well. If there's any questions about the agreement, I'd be happy to answer those, but I would ask for your permission to let Detective Culver say just a few words.
Okay, no problem at all.
Good morning, Commissioners. Detective John Culver, also immediate past president of Lodge 3. I just want to reiterate what Mr. Bergman said, and thank you all for the cooperation that we had overall in this process. I also wanted to thank Sheriff Hill and all of his admin people that joined in on these negotiations. This contract passed, I believe it was January 4th, with an overwhelming majority. So thank you for that. All the members were appreciative and wanted to pass that along. So I would stand for any questions if you had any questions from me.
Any questions for Mr. Bergman or Mr. Culver?
None.
I don't have any.
Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion?
I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the team that worked on it from
Yeah,
Shawnee.
absolutely. Thank you to everyone who worked on this. I know it's been a while, and these come around every so often, but it's always it's good to see some resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item E2, consider the adoption of the Shawnee County COVID-19 Administrative Leave Policy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources again. We've had the COVID admin leave in place last year, and we should probably move to have it in place again this year. That COVID admin leave gives full-time employees 10 days of paid leave that does not affect their sick or vacation time. It gives intermittent employees leave for under 6 months, the reasonable expectation of hours per day at the time of their hire, no more than 10 working days of paid leave for them for admin leave as well. We had over 300 people who used COVID admin leave last year, and just in the last week, we've had over 18 notices of people who need to use it for this year. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Angela, just to clarify, the criteria for somebody to go on this, do they need to have proof of a positive test, or
They do need to have testing or be going out for testing in order to get it, and there is COVID admin leave paperwork, and it has to be approved by the director or elected official.
Okay, appreciate it. Any further questions for Angela? Seeing none, I'll move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Item
Angela.
F, Sheriff's Office, number 1, consider request to reclassify the Offender Registration Unit Administrative Assistant to the position of Office Manager 1 at a salary including benefits of $61,766.53 with funding from the departmental 2022 budget.
Good morning, Commissioner Shane Hubler, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. This is just an attempt to be more equitable and reasonable in our application of duties. This is a very, very, very busy office the Offender Registration Unit has. We have between 1,500 and 1,800 registered offenders, sorry, I can't talk today, that come into that office. We have civilian staff as long as some sworn. This person does a lot more work than just an administrative assistant, literally runs the office, and just the reclassification with budgeted funds. be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for the undersheriff?
None.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
I would move to approve.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Okay, this is a time for any department heads or members of the public who wish to speak to us. Is there anyone wishing to speak today? Okay, seeing none. Commissioner Rippon?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay, Commissioner Cook?
I don't have anything additional.
All right, neither do I, so we are on to our next item.
Item 6, Executive Session.
We do not have a need for executive session today, so with that, I will just go ahead and note, we are going to go immediately into our Board of Health meeting following this meeting, and so this meeting is adjourned. Okay. I'll give everybody just a minute.